accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, could be a weird question to ask me. Could you tell me like the metric that you use, like the accuracy that you're talking about? Is it 99.9%? Is it 1 in 1 billion? Like how did you measure the accuracy?
Sure, this is a great question, and there are organizations in many parts of the world that do different types of biometric tests. And the way that there are two things that you typically measure when you're trying to figure out how good a particular type of authentication is, or biometric authentication. First is, how often is it going to mistake someone for me or you, right? How likely is it to see your face and think that it's Dave, or to see Dave's face and say, nope, this is Avon, right? That's called a false accept rate in the industry, FAR, a common abbreviation. And you want that to be very, very low, right? Many of the tests, especially for face recognition, look to see how frequently would that happen over a population of 1 million people, right? So it's usually like, 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever the numerator is over the denominator of 1 million. The other measure that's also important is how often will it incorrectly reject me, saying, yeah, I know, I don't think this is Dave, or I don't think this is Aben, when it's actually you. That's called the false reject rate. And that's an interesting number, and it's really tied to convenience, right? So, in some situations, if you are doing a credit card transaction and you're doing some sort of biometric authentication along with the credit card transaction, you're going to have to pick that right balance point between accuracy and convenience. And there are many, many factors that different businesses consider when kind of setting this dial between accuracy and convenience. And typically when you set the accuracy really high, the convenience goes down. And so when false accept is a very low number, then the reject rate tends to be higher. And therefore the experience of using it is just more frustrating. And so what is so interesting about our technology, and this goes straight to the technology that we use, the fact that it's a clean sheet approach. Traditional biometrics, that the architecture that most finger and face companies use it's almost 60 years old. It's hardly changed. The basic design architecture hasn't really changed in almost 60 years. Our approach, the zero knowledge proofs, the other sophisticated math that we do gives us phenomenal accuracy. Our false accept rate is 1 over 1 billion people. It's just unheard of. The next closest company, and they're super excited and they have every reason to be proud, their score is 1 over 125 million. That's great. Face ID on an iPhone is 1 over 1 million, right? And so we're at 1 over 1 billion, and we don't need all that specialized hardware. So it's not just, hey, guess what? We've got this cool new technology and it's privacy preserving. It's more accurate as well, and by the way, that 1 over 1 billion is at an incredibly low false reject rate. So we have a couple of key things, the key messages, right? We're zero knowledge, right? But we also say we're zero compromise, right? You get a completely better privacy and security profile with our technology, and better performance, and more accurate. And it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting stuff.
It is unusual to hear, this that you have found this sweet spot between accuracy, privacy, and convenience. It's not very heard